Hey everybody, it's Bolshe here, back with another Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous build video. Today is going to be the first of a series of very short build videos where I kind of walk you through the first level in the game, and then we're going to take a look at the spreadsheet to look at some classes. Now, I'm doing my playthrough right now. I haven't reached level 20, so I don't have access to level 20 characters, gear. I couldn't do a demo and things like that. So just for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to do very short build videos like this. Now this build is going to be designed for an angel playthrough. It was one of the builds I had in mind when I was considering what I wanted to run for my first playthrough, and I really wanted to do like the, prototypical holy warrior type character, heavy armor, sword and a shield, charging into battle, and I called this one the Celestial Charger. It's built on the Blood Rager Primalist archetype. And the Blood Rager is a lot like a Barbarian, except that it has some casting ability. And it's actually a combination of the Barbarian and Sorcerer. So it has some casting ability, it gets Rage, it gets a Bloodline with some really cool Bloodline abilities, depending on the Bloodline you take. For this build, I'm going to be going Aasimar, Angelkin, which is perfect. Not only thematically being close to the angels, or having a heritage that has angels in his background, but also we get +2 to strength and charisma. And one use of lesser restoration per day is not bad either. Your background doesn't really matter here. Maybe like acolyte or healer or something for RP purposes. Nothing game breaking though. We're going to go high strength, 15 dex, because we're going to be doing shield bash, two-handed fighting, and 16 charisma. Our skills, you can take whatever you want. I'm going to go with athletics, religion, and persuasion, just for RP purposes. And our first feat is going to be, we've got to take two-weapon fighting so that we can get our shield bash feats going. Bloodline. Okay, now this one is important here. So obviously, if I'm going, the Holy Warrior, Holy Avenger archetype, I'm going to go Celestial. And I really love this. The Blood Rager archetype is designed around going into a rage that is an expression of your sorceress bloodline. So this guy's got some celestial, angelic bloodline, and he just literally channels divine wrath when he goes into his rage, which I think is super cool. Mechanically, you get one of the best level 1 Blood Rager abilities. First of all, your weapons are considered good aligned, so they bypass damage reduction that is typed as good, which is a lot of the DR in the game. And also, whenever you hit an evil outsider, you do an additional 1d6 points of holy damage, which stacks with anything else. So right off the bat, very strong. This is also great for the Primalist archetype, because all of its other Bloodline abilities are pretty much trash, and we're going to trade them out every time we get them. So that's the Primalist kind of gimmick, is every 4 levels, when you would get a Bloodline ability, you can trade it out for a Barbarian Rage ability, which Barbarian Rage abilities are just, Rage powers are across the board better than anything we get from the Celestial Bloodline. Deity, I think I'm actually going to go with Sarenrae here, being the god of, well, a god of good, but also a god of healing and fire. And plus I want to use a scimitar. And we're going to go awful good. I think later in the build, we're going to want to go Paladin for at least a couple levels. I want Smite Evil somewhere in this build. Alright, so just a quick walkthrough of this spreadsheet here. So after we took that first level of Celestial Bloodline Primalist, we're going to take 12 levels of Primalist, and we're really trying to bump up our shield bash damage and just bump up our melee damage as much as possible. Now, every 4 levels, you are going to increase your strength. All of your skill ups go in strength. So that 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And also, so at 3rd level, we're going to take shield bash. Now we can wield a sword and a shield and get some attacks with our shield bash. You don't lose your AC in the CRPG for shield bashing. You do without a feat in the tabletop game. At level 4, this is where we start trading out our rage powers. So at level 4, we're going to trade out our Celestial Bloodline ability, which is kind of, I think it's like energy resistance, like electricity and acid. It's completely useless. So we're going to trade that out to get lesser beast totem and lethal stance. This is going to give us some claws, and lethal stance is going to give us a +1 competence bonus per +1 to start with, and an additional +1 for every 4 levels. So at level 4, +2 competence bonus to attack. Lesser beast totem is not great on its own. We don't really use it, but we really want greater beast totem later, which is going to give us the pounce ability. At level 5, we take outflank. Outflank is a really solid feat. It gives you an additional +2 to your flanking bonus to attack. So you want pretty much your whole front line in your melee to have this feat. And also when somebody crits, other people that have the feat get to make an attack of opportunity. So it really does turn your front line into a blender. And at about this time is where we pick up our first mythic, mythic rank 1. And far and away the best mythic ability to begin with, just because it's, well, I say far and away because it's a really a quality of life improvement, is to get limitless rage. And now you can blood rage as much as you want per day, but between each blood rage you get 1 minute of fatigue that you can remove with lesser restoration. If your paladin has a mercy on his lay on hands, you can remove fatigue. Community domain. The first ability, if you have a community cleric, they can remove fatigue. So you have ways of getting around this. But being able to rage at any time during the day is great. I would also go close to the heavens, the mythic first ascension ability, just for RP purposes. Okay, at level 6 we get a bloodline feat, and every 3 levels after this we're going to get a bloodline feat. Now to begin with we only have the celestial bloodline, but what's great is that you can actually pick up weapon focus from the celestial bloodline options. So we're going to go weapon focus longsword. And again, if I'm doing my angel playthrough, this is really going to be like RP focused, and there's a perfect longsword. I don't want to spoil too much, but there's a really perfect longsword for this build. And at level 7, our BAB is high enough to get improved 2-weapon fighting, so we're going to pick that up. At around this point, in the beta at least, is where you get your next mythic rank. So I would choose, this needs to be moved down, so level 8. I would choose 2nd Bloodline Draconic to get access to the Draconic Bloodline for bonus feats. Also, eventually, as you can see down here, we're going to be taking levels in Dragon Disciple. At level 8, we get another Bloodline ability. Both the Draconic and the Celestial Bloodlines really aren't that great in terms of the abilities you get. So we're going to trade that out for Beast Totem, which gives us a +1 to natural AC bonus with an additional +1 for every 4 levels. So at 8th level, that's going to be 3 AC. And also Fearless Rage, because I just think that's awesome for a Holy Warrior type that charges into battle. He should never be afraid of anything. So he is now permanently immune to Shaken and Frightened with Fearless Rage. And at level 9, we're going to take Improved Critical as our main feat. And we also get a Bloodline feat. Now that we've taken Draconic, I would choose Power Attack from the Draconic Bloodline. In the beta, I believe it was bugged. Maybe it's not. If it's intended to be this way, if you have 2 Bloodlines as a Blood Rager, you get to choose 2 feats here. So you get a lot of bonus feats if that is the way it goes, and I would just prioritize the feats that I have listed, and then you can take the other feats. The other feats are things like Toughness, Great Fortitude, Iron Will, so things that buff your saving throws, your general survivability. I would prioritize the ones that I have on the build first, and then go with those. Also at about this time we hit Mythic Rank 3. This is where you choose the Angel Mythic Path. You get the Sword of Heaven, which gives you an additional 2d6 holy damage on each attack, and also an additional 2 spell damage dice if you're casting spells. And we're getting really close to having the Pounce ability, and we want to pick up Mythic Charge. Mythic Charge adds an additional 1d6 damage for every attack you make in a charge, which is okay now. We're at Mythic Rank 3, so that would be 3d6 per attack. But in a few levels, we get to make our full round attack action when we charge. So multiply that 3d6 times, 6, 7, 8, later in the game, 9 and 10 attacks per round, and you get some really respectable damage. Nothing really going on at level 10. At level 11, we get to pick up Shield Master. Shieldmaster negates any penalties associated with dual wielding with a shield in the offhand. It also allows you to add the shield's bonus to attack and damage rolls. So this is a very, very strong increase to our melee abilities. And at about this time in the game, you're going to be coming up to Mythic rank 4. So we're going to be trading our Mythic feat for another Mythic ability. So you'll take extra Mythic ability, get enduring spells. And for this, any spell that you would normally cast that's an hour or longer is now 24 hours. That on its own doesn't really help us. We don't have any spells that are an hour long, but this is going to be amazing in a couple of levels. At level 12, we get another Bloodline feat. We're going to take Weapon Focus Shield. I think what you want to take here for the really good shield that you're going to get later, and there's a few good shields that have the same categorization, is the Heavy Spiked Shield Bash Weapon Focus. So even though I said that when I typed that in, Heavy Spiked Shield. That's the good one. There's an amazing shield in the game. And perfectly tailored. I don't want to spoil too much. You'll see it. It's at the end of at the end of Act 4, and it's literally like custom made for this build. Also, we are trading out our feats, our Bloodline abilities. Our Bloodline abilities at level 12 for Draconic and for Celestial are a pair of wings. And not only do we not want to double dip that, but we can get wings as an ASMR. And I do want those wings because those are the nice angelic wings. So we're going to trade that out, and we're going to get Greater Beast Totem. That's going to allow us to pounce. So that means that when you make a charge, you get to make all of your attacks in a single charge action. Combine that with Mythic Charge, you've got some really good damage. And Deadly Accuracy, which is going to allow us to add, I believe it's double our competence bonus from Lethal Stance to crit confirmations. Not amazing on its own. Oh, you know, I just thought of something when I said crit confirmation. I'm going longsword in here, but I think in the first level I took Saren Ray. So maybe trade this out for Iomedae. Or if you want a scimitar, trade this for scimitar. There's some good scimitars too. I think there's a really good one that would fit a Saren Ray Crusader at the end of Act 3. Anyway, okay, back onto this. Level 13. Now we are taking levels of Dragon Disciple. I forgot to mention, in your skills, you need to get 5 Arcana, Knowledge Arcana. As you're leveling up, you need to take 5 points in Knowledge Arcana to be able to access Dragon Disciple. At level 13, we're going to take Bash and Finish. This is why Scimitar is really good. Longsword is good too. Scimitar has slightly higher crit chance. And every time you crit with your main hand, you get an instant attack with your Shield Slam. And your Shield Slams are really hitting hard with Shield Master and everything else we've got going on. At level 14, we get another Bloodline feat. You know, I have Intimidating Prowess here. We're not going to really be doing any intimidating in battle. You maybe want this for persuasion in dialogue checks, but you might also want to take Toughness or one of the saving throw Bloodline feats like Iron Will or what's the other one? Great Fortitude. At about level 14, you're going to hit Mythic rank 6, and Mythic rank 5, and this is where we pick up Greater Enduring spells. And one of the reasons why is if you watch the other Oracle build, I kind of forgot to mention this. Our first upgrade for the Sword of Heaven is going to be called Everlasting Flame, which gives you it increases the duration to 1 minute per level. So with Greater Enduring spells and a Mythic rank 5, so that's, you know, your Sword of Heaven is 5 minutes per level. This will increase that to 24 hours a day. So now you get your Sword of Heaven, which is normally just a 1 minute. You cast it once, you get it for only 1 minute. Pretty powerful ability. You now get it 24 hours a day, which I think is just, you know, not only is it really powerful, obviously, but that was my one disappointment when I did an Angel playthrough on the beta was, you know, you only get to use this iconic ability, which is super cool, for a minute per time. So this fixes that. Now you get to be that holy warrior. You've got your Sword of Heaven at all times. At level 15, we take ASMR Wings, gives us an additional +3 bonus to AC and immunity to ground effects, grease, difficult terrain, things like that. I forgot to mention at Dragon Disciple 2 and 4, we get strength increases too. So those are nice little bonuses to our melee abilities. At level 17, we go back into Primalist. Now for this build, I went 16 levels of Primalist, and that's a really solid build. You could also pick up a couple levels of Paladin at the end here. You lose out on some rage powers, but you pick up, you could pick up extra saving throws. Your saving throws get boosted up by your charisma, and you also pick up some smites, which I think would be really cool. You could also take abundant smite to get more of those smite casts. I think it's really cool, like having Sword of Heaven, dropping a smite evil on somebody. Really cool. By the way, sorry, I keep putting my head up here. I put the camera down so you're not like distracted by the ceiling fan that's almost hitting me in the head throughout all these videos. At level 17, level 17, we're going to take our 13th level of Primalist, greater 2-weapon fighting. This gives us an additional attack with our offhand shield. It's made it a -10 penalty, but because we have Shield Master, we're so accurate that this is still worth it. At about this time, we hit Mythic Rank 6. Mythic Rank 6 is pretty important because we get improved Sword of Heaven that allows us to have all of our damage, melee and spell damage, converted to holy. So now you bypass all damage reduction because there really isn't any damage reduction for holy damage. At level 19, that's our 15th level of Primalist, we're going to take Double Slice to add our full strength bonus to our offhand attacks. That's really great now that we have Bashing Finish and all these shield bashing feats. And we get another Bloodline feat, so you get to take something you haven't. At this point, you really do get just about every good Bloodline feat in the game. And finally, at level 20, our 16th level of Primalist, I don't have it down here, but I would definitely go with Lethal Accuracy. That increases our crit multiplier by 1 for all of our attacks while we're in lethal stance, which is constant. And I think I would also go with Internal Fortitude, which gives us immunity to nauseated and sickened conditions. So those are nice immunities as well. I really just wanted that lethal accuracy though. And at this point in the game, I really didn't get far enough on the beta to know exactly when the next mythic ranks happen. So I would say that my next mythic ranks at mythic rank 7, I would take Unrelenting Assault. This gives you a +2 stacking buff to your damage, your melee damage. Every round you get an additional +2, and I believe it stacks up to a total of +10. Improved critical, this is really good combined with lethal accuracy, and it would be even better with the scimitar, honestly. When you crit with lethal accuracy, your crit multiplier goes up by 1. So for a scimitar, it's normally ×2. With lethal accuracy, it'd be ×3. With mythic improved critical, it goes up to ×4. So your crits are actually doing double the normal damage that they would. And then I would go with this one. It's actually not called Shockwave, it's called Thunderous Blows, or Thundering Blows. And this gives you some AoE damage when you miss. So that's always helpful. And then Mythic Power Attack as our last mythic feat. I should note, at Mythic 8, you get to improve your Sword of Heaven. And the Sword of Heaven improvement you get is called Speed of Light. It gives you an additional 2 attacks per round. And you can start casting a swift action spell of 7th level or lower as a swift action. So every round you can do a full set of melee attacks. You can also drop a blasting spell. And that blasting spell, because of our improved Sword of Heaven, is holy damage. So it's a very potent combo. And as you're leveling up and picking your spells, which I didn't put here, make sure you're grabbing some blasting spells. You get a bunch of really great blasting spells just by taking the Angel Spellbook, but you can also pick up some good blasting spells on your Blood Rager. Alright, so this is from another spreadsheet. We can just delete this. I will post this spreadsheet. I did mean this to be abbreviated, but it turned out to be pretty long. Not too bad for everything from memory, right? I really like this build. I love the idea of the Holy Warrior. And I can't wait to get to level 20 so I can actually start doing some build demos. I have a feeling this thing's going to be an absolute beast. It also has a lot of really great synergy with a high attack per round charging build. There's a few angel spells, well, including Sword of Heaven. It increases your damage by 2d6 holy damage per attack. So the more attacks you get, the more value you get out of that. And there's also an ability called Sun Marked, where you do an extra 1d6 per caster level, I believe, or maybe per 2 caster levels per attack. That's really good. And then on top of that, we have this cool, I think it's called Wall of Light, where you can charge through it, and every attack you do does an additional 1d6 per 2 caster levels or something. Tag on top of that an additional 1d6 per mythic rank on every attack, and you're stacking just massive amounts of holy damage per attack and stacking tons of attacks. So mechanically it really works. Thematically, it's such a cool idea. Just the pure Holy Avenger build here. So tell me what you think. If these build videos aren't worthwhile, then I will just rush through my playthrough and try and get back to some regular build videos. But I think for now, this is the best I can do. Alright, that does it for this build video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like and subscribe. I hope you guys are having a great time with your playthroughs. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. Alright, bye.